Welcome new teachers to Franklin Public Schools. This screencast will serve as an overview of the Wisconsin Educator Effectiveness System. Resources referenced in this presentation can be found on the Wisconsin DPI Educator Effectiveness website, listed below. At the conclusion of the screencast, you should be able to understand the following learning targets. You will be able to explain the Educator Effectiveness System and the implications it has on you as a teacher in Franklin Public Schools. You'll be able to explain what the following components of the Educator Effectiveness System are. And you'll be able to explain how student learning outcomes, professional practice goals, and Teachscape observations will drive quality instruction by you as a new teacher. An educator evaluation system must deliver information that guides effective educational practice that is aligned with student learning and development, documents evidence of educator practice, documents evidence of student learning, informs appropriate professional development, informs educator preparation programs, supports a full range of human resource decisions, and is credible, valid, reliable, comparable, and uniform across districts throughout the state. Here's a brief timeline of the Wisconsin Educator Effectiveness System and how it came to be. From 2010 to 2011, the framework for the system was defined by stakeholders throughout the state of Wisconsin. Defining of the actual system and its components took place during 2011 to 2012. From July 2012 to 2013, a developmental pilot took place throughout the state of Wisconsin. Franklin Public Schools has been at the forefront of the implementation of the Wisconsin Educator Effectiveness System. During the 2012-13 school year, all principals were certified on the Teachscape platform and conducted multiple observations through Teachscape with pilot teachers, and feedback was given to the state of Wisconsin. Southwood Glen Elementary and Forest Park Middle School also served as pilot schools for the Student Learning Outcome Pilot. 3 teachers from each building wrote SLOs, and the data and feedback was shared with the state of Wisconsin. A statewide pilot took place last year. All teachers and principals within Franklin Public Schools participated in this statewide pilot, writing 2 SLOs, 2 professional practice goals, and using the Teachscape platform. For the 2014-15 school year, statewide, the Wisconsin Educator Effectiveness System will be implemented. Educators are required to use the Educator Effectiveness System beginning with the 2014-15 school year based on the 2011 Wisconsin Act 166 law. Educators will complete an effectiveness cycle at a minimum in their first year in a district and once every 3 years. Educators new to a district will complete the full effectiveness cycle during their first year. After the first year, educators may be engaged in multi-year effectiveness cycles depending on local district decisions. Educators should use all of the available time over a multi-year cycle to complete the effectiveness cycle. This graphic shows what your first year and every 3rd year after will look like as a new teacher this year in Franklin Public Schools. Within your first year, you will complete an effectiveness cycle with a summer year. In years 2, 3, and 4, we'll begin a new effectiveness cycle with the summer year concluding in the 4th year. This graphic represents your effectiveness cycle as was just explained. Multiple measures. The Wisconsin Educator Effectiveness System uses multiple measures to assess a teacher's effectiveness. There are important differences for both educator practice and student outcome measures depending on whether you are a teacher, a principal, or an assistant principal. This graphic is based on the teacher's multiple measures. 50% of your effectiveness is based on evidence of educator practice, and 50% is based on student outcomes. Both of these will be defined further within this screencast. Educator practice summary is comprised of scores for each of the components in the appropriate framework. Teachers will be focused on the Danielson framework for teaching. Evidence of educator practice is captured in 2 ways: through observations of the educator by his or her evaluator, and by educators uploading artifacts and tagging evidence in Teachscape to a component on the appropriate framework. As you can see for framework and components, the visual on the left under teachers, all 22 components in the Danielson framework for teaching are evaluated based on evidence from observations as well as teacher artifacts. During an observation of teachers during a summer year as well as in non-summer years, a minimum of one observation announced takes place as well as 3 to 5 mini observations. In a summer year, 2 of those 3 to 5 mini observations are unannounced. Your principal will share with you at pre-session or in the first weeks of school a more concrete plan for your announced observations as well as the 3 to 5 mini observations within your first year at Franklin Public Schools. Evidence is collected in the observations through the Teachscape platform. Building principals will share more information on how to utilize this tool throughout the beginning weeks of the school year. Charlotte Danielson's framework for teaching focuses on 4 domains: planning and preparation, the classroom environment, instruction, and professional responsibilities. Another component of the Wisconsin Educator Effectiveness System are professional practice goals, or PPGs. You will set one PPG for this upcoming school year. It will be based on the Danielson framework, and it will support your SLO goal. The focus of this PPG should be on to change instructional practices and fall within scoring components of proficient to distinguished. Teachers will write one student learning outcome that is in alignment with district and building goals. These goals are data-driven and will be a collaborative effort set forth by district and your building data teams. 50% of student outcomes is comprised of 95% of your SLO score during your summer year and 5% of either reading value added or graduation rate scores for the district. Here's an example of a teacher SLO in the bottom portion of this screen. In collaboration with your building principal, system specialist, and data team, you will determine one student learning outcome for the current school year. Examples will be shared by your building principal, and there will be many assistants to help you write your SLO for this upcoming school year. All of the components that have been outlined will fall into your Educator Effectiveness Plan, or EEP. Every teacher will create an EEP within the Teachscape platform to lay out their year-long plan. The Educator Effectiveness Plan includes the following: your SLO goal, which has a rationale for the goal, how the goal will be measured, who does this goal pertain to, and the timetable for the goal. You also include your PPG within your EEP. What professional practice will support your SLO? Your building principal will sign off on your EEP in the beginning of the school year after you have met to verify that it meets district requirements. At the conclusion of an educator's effectiveness cycle, summary year, the evaluator determines a score for each of the components from the appropriate framework, which would be the Danielson framework in the case of teachers, based on the critical attributes from the evidence that they've gathered from observations as well as artifacts. And your evaluator will also create a holistic SLO score based on the SLO rubric that your principal can provide you. The score for the components are combined to the results in a final educator practice summary. The holistic SLO score, the reading graduation rate score, and the principal value added score, when available, are combined to result in a final student outcome summary. Additionally, the educator's results will be reported visually using a coordinate pair on the summary graph summarizing the data collected regarding their practice and outcome across the effectiveness cycle. This data will stay within the district and be utilized to determine growth of the educator over the course of their career in Franklin Public Schools. In conclusion, as a first-year teacher in Franklin, you will be a part of the initial summary year. During pre-session, your building principal will share with their staff the plan for supervision and observation for your school. Your building data team will report out at pre-session the focus of your SLO for the school year. And trust me when I say this, there are many supports in place in Franklin to help you be successful throughout the school in regards to the Wisconsin Educator Effectiveness System. This screencast involves a lot of information and is a brief overview of the system. Please ask your building principal for clarification on pieces from this screencast. And when I say this, best of luck to you in your first year in Franklin Public Schools. You have many supports in place to make sure this is a very successful year and career. Thank you for listening.